You've got to a point right now in your life where you're feeling lost, lost without direction, lost without meaning. It could be in your career, it could be with your relationships, it could be just you in your life where you are right now. Or maybe you're feeling some low level emotions. There could be some depression, there could be some anxiety. In this video, I'm going to be share three main points that I believe are really important for you to jump out of that feeling of being lost and into more of a space of certainty and direction. Now, hi, I'm Michael Giovanni, the founder of Live in Your Power Now, and thank you for coming along and listening to this video as I share this information. Now, we put such pressure on ourselves to be a certain person. We have expectations that we need to be a certain way, we need to be in a certain area in life, we need to be making a certain amount. We just need to be someone else than who we are right now. And the question is, where does this all come from? Where does this unconscious conditioning come from? From a young age, we're all conditioned that, when you be good, you'll get good things. But when you be bad, you'll get bad things. And it's a very polarized, simplistic way to look at things. Whereas we get rewarded for being good and we get condemned for being bad. Now, a lot of times we've got that running in the background and we're trying to fulfill this picture and this expectation of who we are meant to be. And along the way, we're condemning and not being so aware of the feedback mechanism that's trying to communicate to us. Now, the feedback mechanism that's trying to communicate to us is our emotions and feelings. Now, the more you ignore your feelings and emotions and, see them for what they are, not for what you think they are. See, every individual has an innate knowing that, we all have an innate knowing that there is a number of purposes. There's not just one purpose that we're here to do. There's this big thing sold out there that you've got to find your one purpose. You've got to find your one purpose you're here to do. And yes, that's incredible, and it definitely works. But we're here for a number of things. And that unconscious conditioning can interfere with what I'm about to say. So every individual has a number of purposes. Now, the number one innate knowing that we have is we're all here to evolve. Now, whether you believe we have a soul or not, the singularity point of every individual's existence is formed upon light. All that found up until this point in science, what's inside the atom is light. And this is your singularity point of your existence. This is the divine part. This is the part, and I don't say this from a theological perspective. I more so say this from who you are, from a perspective of who you really are. Now, if every individual knows that they're here to evolve, that's one thing. We know we're here to grow. We're here to look at challenges. We're here to expand and explore ourselves. And what we do know up until this point, if you're someone that just tries to exist and tries to not evolve and tries to not grow, that comes with an enormous amount of pain, an enormous amount of pressure, an enormous amount of certain mental or physical conditions that can come with it. Going out for what you believe in, what you think is right for you, what you're inspired to do, to expand yourself to a higher degree, higher level, that comes with an enormous amount of pain too. But it also comes with an enormous amount of fulfillment, which is the other can come with an enormous amount of regret. So there are one purpose that we know we're here to do. The other purpose is we all know we're here to serve in some way. Now, when it comes to service, it doesn't necessarily have to be like this, talking through a video or helping people, mentoring, helping them find their true calling. It's just finding what your gift is. And everybody has a number of gifts. And it's just really what makes your heart sing. What's your highest priority? What opens up your heart? An individual can be really good at making cakes. An individual could be really good at washing cars. An individual could be really good at mentoring people. An individual could be really good at doing landscaping. It doesn't matter what this person, what they're really good at. It's what makes them feel connected and where their gifts, where they're able to express their most creative, their most highest level of creativity and inspiration. That's purpose in service in one way. And you can also create a monetary, return on that too, if you were to follow it through and continue. So that's one area. Now, when we get lost in life, sometimes we've got the expectations of where we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be, and we're trying to fit into that box. And along the way, when we try to fit into that box, we can get so suppressed because we're not listening to that feedback mechanism. And that feedback mechanism is the emotions. So if you've got yourself to a feeling where you're really feeling really lost, you're feeling really down, feeling depressed, or you're feeling alone, if you're isolated yourself, sometimes that is the feeling that's necessary that will get you to the next stage, to the next level. Because it's in the dark where we can actually see where the light is. And when you're in that dark place, everything may feel like it's shrinking and there's not room for anywhere, and you're not sure where to go, where the next step is. Maybe you're not feeling like anyone's really there to support you. And maybe you're not feeling like you're worthy, or you have the gifts, or you have the strength. But the thing is, you really do. And let me explain why. If there is one thing that I've seen over the years working with people, is every single individual that I've worked with, as soon as you start clearing some of the conditioning, the emotions, the programming, something appears. And all that appears is really the person's identity of why they're here, what they're here to do, and for them to follow that. Now, sometimes that can be challenging to accept because we've known a certain way for such a long period of time. It's an old identity that we're trying to hang on to, that we don't want to let go of. And anytime we try to step into something new, we tend to mourn the old part of us and try to hang on to it and latch onto it and bring it back. Now, I want to take you through 3 important steps that I believe, if you're someone that's feeling lost, that you want to create more direction, more meaning in your life. It could be in your relationships, it could be with a business, it could be with your career, just for you to feel overall more inspired and fulfilled in your life. These are the 3 steps what I believe are really important. Number one, it's important to have a vision. It's important to write something down. It's important to plan something out and actually put that into a vision board or something. See, if you don't know where you're going, you might not like where you end up. So it's really important to have something, a plan of where we're going. A lot of times you see people, when you mention goals, it's like this frown upon thing, and that, it's this not something that can get us the greatest results. It's something that's not cool, or it's not hip, or whatever it might be. Planning something out and putting it down on paper, it's your life. If you're not planning your life, you're going to allow people to influence and take over and plan your life for you. So it's a case of you taking charge, even when you're by yourself, even with friends or family. Think of this idea. What if a family were to come together every week and come all together and plan out their year or plan out their week? It's not something you see that's very common. But what if that were to exist? Do you think there'd be a different year in, year out, to that family and their experience that they'd get? So these are just ideas. Sometimes we know things would work, but we don't tend to do them. It's just about coming back to simplicity. It's coming back to the simple tasks, the simple strategies that you already know what to do. But what's really important is just starting. Even though you might feel like you don't know what to do, you don't know where the next step is, get a pen and paper out, start writing down of what you want. If you don't know what you want, start off writing what you don't want. And then when you've got what you don't want, reframe it to turn it to what you want, which would normally be the opposite of that. Okay, so number two. Number 2 is finding the courage to do what's necessary, to do what it takes. And this is identifying, okay, look at your life right now. What are you attracting? What are you getting triggered over? What keeps repeating? It could be in the context of relationships. Are you attracting a certain person, a male or female, behaviors? It could be in work or a business. Are you attracting a certain person? It could be in family. Do you tend to get involved in the same conversations that drain you or make you feel or leave you feeling exhausted? Those are the questions about asking yourself, identifying exactly where you are. Then once you've identified of what's happening and what's repeating in your life, then it's a case of doing something about it, doing what's necessary. And if that means clearing out some things, forgiving, letting go of some emotions. If you've got an emotion or a thought that keeps obsessing over and over that's holding you back, find someone. Find a specialist in the field, find a development coach, find someone that can help you break out of that, so therefore you're not wasting time. A lot of times we look at life and we actually think we have time. But every day that goes by is another day you're getting closer to die. Not many people want to look at that. We look at birthdays and we celebrate the celebration of every year of getting older. But not many people are putting our life on a scale and thinking, how many years do you have left? And applying that pressure to each and every individual's life. Sometimes it's confronting, but it's the reality. And sometimes we need to challenge ourselves with this. So we're not just finding things to keep us comfortable every time something comes up. Every time we get that emotional reaction or the emotional feedback, we're finding things just to soothe us down. That could be food, that could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be jumping on YouTube just to look at some video of self-development. Whatever it might be that our addiction is, that's causing us to get back down quick, fast, so we can get back on. Each and every person has a different one. Now, number 3 is get a mentor. And this is what I mean. Now, every person you see in your life that you see as an inspiration, that you see on the TV screen, that you admire, on some stage in their life, or whether in their life right now, they have mentors. They have people that are helping them either pull them up to where they want to be, or helping them get clear or work on things that are in the way. When we're born into this world, we have from a young age, we have our parents as mentors. Then we get into school, we have our teachers as mentors. Then when we get into the work field, into the real life, what tends to happen, we get lost. Because we've had mentors our whole life, teaching us and guiding us all the way to grow and to expand ourselves. And we get into, it could be corporate jobs, or it could be the environments that are here today. See, leadership is conditioned in such a way these days where you're not really mentoring your employees, where we're looking at this hierarchy, this status, and we're down here on the bottom of the hierarchy if you're in a job. And when you're seeing yourself as that, that's not really pulling you up and bringing you to everything, where you're actually keeping yourself on a lower plane, a lower hierarchy, looking up at the top authorities, and you're seeing yourself as potentially less. And you're not seeing your magnificence, and you're not seeing your value, because there's always someone there. It's more so about finding what is truly inspired to you, what you'd really want to achieve, even if you didn't feel like you were capable of doing it. It's more so about having the idea that makes your heart sing. It's following what you keep daydreaming about. Everything is already there. There is nothing missing in this universe, and there is nothing missing in an individual. And there is nothing broken about any individual. There is no such thing as a person being broken in any way. All it really is a misalignment and an alignment back to your true authentic self. When you start aligning yourself back to who you are and get on the path, it's all part of the process. So you can have a goal and an inspired path in to get somewhere, but the process to get there has challenges. It has obstacles, it has pain, it has pleasure, and that's just part of the process. When you accept that being part of the process, you're not so much going to get swallowed by those emotions. You won't get swallowed by people's judgments. And that's another point I want to share about. Sometimes if your commitment is greater to what other people think than what you think about yourself, that's an area to expand within yourself, because it won't be resolved just by circulating those same thoughts. You know, at what level, at what stage in your life did you decide that other people's opinion, but they're not even other people's opinions, they're more so virtually or internally what you're creating, their opinion is greater than who you really are? Think about it. Just because you're viewing something through your 5 senses, taste, touch, sight, sound, smell, that doesn't mean that's a reality. That's the smallest part of your reality. Where your true gifts are, where your true reality resides and lives, is beyond those 5 senses. When you close your eyes, when you get in touch with your greater parts beyond your 5 senses. So again, the important part here is mentors. If you're struggling not to do it, you go do it. See, in society, you see someone that if they get sick, and this is, I'm generalizing now, I don't tend to like to generalize, but as I generalize now, when a person gets really sick, they'll go off to a doctor. And they'll go off to a doctor, and there's a part of them that know they're pretty much going to leave with the same thing as they went before. They're not really going to leave with anything great, but it's important sometimes to go seek advice. But when we've got patterns repeating in life and cycles repeating in life, and maybe we're going through emotions, a lot of people just ignore that and they don't do anything about it. And the consequence is lost time. where you can get yourself to the age of 30, 40, 50, and you can look back and you can see that 10 years or 15 years was done exact the same. So the question is, if you have identified that and you can see that, you have to ask the question is, what would be the next phase that you're going to do? What's the next phase? What are you going to achieve? And how are you going to do it? Anyway, that's all I have time for. Thank you for listening. If you found value in this in any way, like and share it with a friend. If you want some more information, you want to get a bit more clear, I'm offering a free session with myself. This is a one-on-one session in order to get you clearer on where you're going, where you're at right now, and what could be the next steps, whether it be with someone or it just might be one of those mind shifts that you're needing right now. So take advantage, click on the link below, and you can book in a session with me. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon. Bye for now.